to stretch today. Doesn't that sound nice? We're gonna start in this seated position, just like I'm seated here. So the bottoms of my feet are together and I'm sitting nice and tall. So my feet are pretty close to my body, but maybe your feet are more out here because what we want to do is maintain this tall posture. So wherever your feet are, if they come in and you feel like you roll to your back, right, to keep the feet close, don't do that. We want tall posture. That's the first thing we want. And then the feet can go wherever they go. So bottoms of the feet together and the knees fall out. I'll let you get in this position with me. We'll start the time going. Now what we want to think about here is that our knees fall open. Our knees fall open. I know it's easy to feel a stretch in the inner thighs and start to kind of tense up, right? We don't want to let the knees fall open. We don't want to let that happen. But let's just soften. Think about softening in the inner thighs, keeping that tall back, and let the knees fall open. Hold here, team. Softening inner thighs, sitting nice and tall, knees are falling open. All right, team, now what we're gonna do next is we're gonna hinge at the hip. So a hinge at the hip as we lower down, keeping the back flat. We'll have time to round the back in a moment, but right now it's a hinge at the hips and the back is flat. So I get a little bit of tension to help me kind of get a little bit lower by kind of putting my hands on the floor and pulling myself down, still allowing my knees to come open and my back is flat. Maybe you just do a little bitty tilt and that's all that you can do, and that's wonderful. So remember today, it's not about it's not about looking like me in the pose, right? And it's not about pain. We are just trying to relax and let our body stretch, okay? So maybe we've seen somebody do this before and their chest is on the floor. That's fine. That's great for them. That's not me. That might not be you. So we're just paying attention to our bodies, listening to our bodies, and stretching. So now what I want you to do next is let the back round out. So now we get to round out and go lower. Again, maybe you round and this is where you are, and that's awesome. We round out and go lower, see how the stretch changes, what do we feel differently, and we're gonna hold here. Again, always thinking softening of the inner thighs, and now I feel my hips too. My hips here, so softening of the hips, letting the knees fall open, rounding the back out. Maybe you're feeling your back stretch. How do we soften the back? Breathing in and out. Let's roll up nice and slowly, back up to seated. Okay, we're gonna take the legs wide. So legs go wide. Now we're back to thinking about good posture. So legs only go as wide as you can maintain your posture. And maybe your legs have to be a little bit bent, and that's fine. So legs a little bit bent or straight if you can, and we're just gonna sit here. So we're just establishing this positioning, sitting tall. Now I'm feeling my inner thighs stretch. And we're breathing. What we want to be sure is that our toes are either pointing up or a little bit open, but we don't want to let the toes roll forward. So knees pointing up, knees pointing out, toes pointing up or toes pointing out. We want to keep that outward rotation happening. Again, we're just sitting tall here and allowing the inner thighs to stretch. Now we're gonna face each toe. We're gonna square up towards each foot and reach, come back up, rotate. We're facing each foot, reach, come back up, rotate. reach. So now when I reach, I'm feeling this inner thigh more, rotate, and now I'm feeling my right inner thigh more. We reach, rotate. Haha, that was a reach. Now we're rotating and reaching. Okay, still trying to maintain a bit of a flat back, right? Breathing. Again, maybe your reach is to here and that feels like a stretch to you, and that's awesome. We're just listening to our bodies, team. Rotate. Team, when we go back up to this first side, we're gonna hold. So again, holding while we're squared up towards that foot. We're holding here. We wanna be sure to pay attention to this foot, that it's not rolling in. It's either pointing up or pointing out, and we're paying attention to this booty, that it's not lifting off the floor, okay? Because the name of the game is stretching and relaxing rather than doing the pose in a way that you saw somebody do it one day and they did awesome and their nose was touching their knee. You know, that's not me, that's not you. Or it might be you. That's not me, maybe it's you. That's not the goal. The goal is stretching. Okay, team, lift up. Now square off this way, and we reach this way. It's a hinge at the hips, right? Back is mostly flat. My toes are up or opened. They're not rolling in, and this booty now is down. When I do this stretch, right, I feel inner thigh here. I feel hamstring on this side. Your body might feel those things. You might feel different things in addition. Feeling a stretch here. Trying to relax into it. We'll hold for 10 more seconds. Maybe you can go a little deeper with that extra hold. All right, team, come to seated now. Legs are still wide. Now we're gonna reach over the head. Reach for that toe. Come on up. We're gonna reach to the other side. You will notice that I am keeping my chest either facing you or kind of opening towards the ceiling. It's so easy to close it, right? That's closed. This is open. So let's stay open. So we reach the chest up towards that ceiling, that rotation. Now when I'm stretching overhead, I'm feeling that good stretch down the side of my body. Feels good, I'm breathing. I'm allowing my body to bend and stretch and open. I want to keep breathing. I want to keep my booty down. Both booties are down, even when I'm going to one side. I don't let any booty lift. Team, we're going to hold here. This side, pick a side, and we're holding. This feels really intense to me, this side stretch. So I want to be sure that I'm breathing, 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 keeping the breath moving and allowing myself to sink down. You might not even be going anywhere further. It just might be a mental relaxation and release. And come on up. Whoo, we're going to the other side. See how my bottom elbow, my bottom shoulder comes inside my legs. So I can encourage that rotation towards the ceiling. And I try and relax and sink into this. Feel the stretch down the side of my body. And breathe. Whew, this side feels intense too, team. It's very intense for me over here on this side of my body. All right, team, come on up to seated. Okay, next we're gonna do pigeon pose. Pigeon pose is gonna stretch the glute. So I just pointed to my right booty, but what we're gonna do first is stretch the left. So this knee, we're coming from this position. If you need to walk through, The knee comes forward up between the hands, and I bring my toes kind of this way, and then take this knee, get that good stretch here. Again, your pigeon might look different. Your foot might be bent up a little bit more. Again, if this causes any pain, you're not doing it. But here's my pigeon, and I'm making sure my hips are even level with the floor. So I'm not sitting down on any side. So we start here. I have my hands on the floor. I feel like I can take this a little bit deeper. So then I'm going to come down to elbows. Now what I'm paying a lot of attention to is my posture again. I don't want to come down to elbows, kind of force it. How do I keep my chest tall and maintain that deep stretch? Thinking about sinking into this one. Letting the hips drop towards the floor. I'm feeling a stretch on the booty of my left leg. That's the leg that's bent here. Stretching the booty of the left leg. So another option, if you feel like you can do this, would be to come even deeper here. That feels like a little bit too much for me, so I'm just coming back to elbows, but those are some options for you if you can handle or want a deeper stretch. All right, team, I'm gonna pick myself up out of this one. Come with me, we're gonna do the other side. So just come back to hands and knees here, really simple. Right knee's gonna float forward here, and then I'm gonna sit back on it, kind of inch my left toes back a little bit to get that good stretch here. Again, I can come down to my elbows on this side. It's always important to take each side as separate parts of the body, right? So maybe I can do a deeper stretch on this side. We're more flexible, we're stronger on one side than the other. So every side is different. And maybe you feel like you went really far into the stretch on the left side, but this side you maybe can't go down even to your elbows. And that's okay. You don't want to force anything. You just allow your body to do what it's doing. And wherever you're feeling a stretch, that's where you stop and you just hang out and breathe. And imagine yourself sinking into the stretch. Imagine yourself softening into the stretch. So feeling it here, bent leg, booty. All right, team. Next up, a runner's lunge. So now we're going to do a big step forward here. My left foot's coming forward. I pick up my back knee and kind of inch it back so I find space here. And then I let my hips sink this way. I'm letting my hips sink forward and down. And I'm keeping my left knee kind of glued into my side. My right foot can't decide what to do because this is feeling intense for me. So this feels like when I curl my toes in, it feels like it's kind of stopping the stretch a little bit. So I'm trying to take my advice, sink down into it, relax and breathe. I'm feeling a very intense stretch here. So that's what we're trying to do, is feel that hip flexor stretching. Breathing. And you know, maybe you can walk your hands forward for a deeper stretch. Maybe you can come down to your elbows on this side. Do what's best for you here, team. All right, back on out of this one. Take your time. Sometimes with those intense stretches, we need to take it slowly as we back off. We're gonna do a big step forward now with the right foot. And we're gonna just float forward and down. Let those hips float forward and down. Now my right knee is hugging into my right side. I'm not letting it just fly out, splay out. I will say this side feels less intense, which I'm into. If you have any sort of props that might bring the floor up to you, like a block, So then if you want to try elbows, but you can only go this far on your elbows because that block is lifted up to you, feel free to use those props if you know how. Maybe walking the hands forward here for me gets that little bit of a deeper stretch on this side. Again, I'm feeling the top of my left thigh stretch out, and I'm feeling a little bit here in the hamstring inner thigh area. Big breath, keep that big breath moving, team. And now we're gonna come to hands and knees. Hands and knees. We're gonna do cat and cow here. So I'm gonna arch my back and round my back out. Grabbing my stopwatch a little bit closer. That is not an instruction to you. I just narrate everything, right? So why wouldn't I narrate that? Are we feeling a nice stretch in the back? It's just a warming of the back. Again, not doing anything that hurts. So arching, rounding it out. Sometimes it feels good to snake around. So maybe I push hips one direction, push hips the other direction. Team, we're just looking for flexibility. We're looking for mobility today. Letting my head drop when my back rounds, gets that stretch down the back of the neck. Going at your own pace. Breathing. And now, team, I'd like you to come into a down dog position. So I'm going to come into a plank. My heels, oh, let's tuck in shirts. That's always nice. Okay, plank. My heels float towards the floor, and now I'm pushing my chest towards the toes. So I'm not walking my hands towards the toes. It's a pressure, it's a shift in body weight, pressing my chest towards the toes. And while I'm here, I'm gonna push one heel to the floor and then the other. My knees are bent. We wanna keep those knees bent. Do not lock your knees out here. So one heel pushes to the floor, then the other. Let's do a couple more like that. Keep pushing the chest towards the toes. And now find stability here. Just stop moving for just a moment. Knees are softly bent. Now knees are big bent. A big bend in the knees, soft bend in the knees. We're seeing how this changes the stretch for us, if at all. Just moving here, team. And now we're gonna walk hands to feet. Walk hands to feet. My knees are bent. I'm hanging down. I'm gonna let my big head just hang. I might look side to side. How does that feel different? Team, maybe you're up here on this forward fold, and that's okay. It's a big stretch for the hamstrings. It's a big stretch for the back of the body. I'm feeling a stretch in my neck and my back, all the way down my back. We're gonna roll up nice and easy. Keep those knees soft. Roll up nice and easy. Keep the knees soft. Ooh, we're standing tall. We're gonna roll down one more time. Just really easy. Come down. It's a ragdoll hang, right? If you want to grab opposite elbows and do a little swaying, that feels good. Knees are soft. Do not lock your knees out. Let your head go. A lot of people like to keep this tension here. Let it go. Feel the stretch. Allow it to stretch. Good. Roll up slowly here. Vertebra by vertebra. Slow, slow, slow. Whew. That is it. A quick little stretch for you today. Thank you so much. See you next time.